June 4, 2010 began like any other day for Kyron Horman, a 7-year-old second grader at Skyline Elementary School in northwest Portland, Oregon. Typically, Kyron would take the school bus along the 2-mile route from his home on Sheltered Nook Road, but this morning was different. His stepmother, Terry Lynn Moulton Horman, drove him to school to accommodate a science fair. Kyron had prepared a display on the red-eyed tree frog, carefully arranging his materials and notes in anticipation. Terry and Kyron arrived shortly after 8 a.m., walking into the school with his backpack and coat in hand. A witness later confirmed seeing them together around 8:15 a.m., standing near his exhibit and discussing his project. The atmosphere was typical of a school morning, with children and parents moving through the hallways. Yet no one could have known this would be the last time Kyron would be seen. At 8:45 a.m., the school bell rang, signaling the start of classes. Terry stated she left at that time, saying Kyron told her he was heading to his classroom. After that moment, Kyron was never seen or heard from again. His teacher, unaware of any immediate concern, marked him absent at 10 a.m., assuming he had a doctor's appointment. Hours later, when Kyron failed to return home at the usual 3:30 p.m. dismissal time, Terry reported him missing at 3:45 p.m. Despite inquiries, there were no confirmed sightings of Kyron on school grounds after 8:45 a.m. Family and friends described him as timid, a child unlikely to wander away alone. This timeline establishes the critical first hours of Kyron's disappearance, highlighting the school environment, Terry's reported actions, and the initial confusion over his absence. These events set the factual foundation for the investigation that followed and introduced the people closest to Kyron on that day. Kyron Horman was born into a family shaped by divorce and blended relationships. His parents, Caney Andrew Horman and Desiree Young, ended their marriage in 2003, leaving Kyron to divide his time between both households. Caney began a relationship with Terry Lynn Moulton, who would become Kyron's stepmother. Terry and Caney married in 2007, and Terry had been a primary caregiver for Kyron since infancy. Despite this, Kyron continued to visit his mother Desiree and stepfather Tony Young every few weeks, maintaining a connection with both sides of his family. At the time of Kyron's disappearance in June 2010, Terry and Caney had a 1-year-old daughter, Kiara Ariel Horman. Terry also had a teenage son from a previous marriage, who resided with her parents. Publicly released photos of Caney, Terry, and Desiree later accompanied case summaries, illustrating the complex family relationships. The dynamics within the household became a point of focus for investigators, who noted tension between Caney and Terry. Reports highlighted changes in Terry's behavior and emotional state following Kiara's birth. Court documents and statements to investigators referenced marital issues between Caney and Terry, including allegations of postpartum depression, alcohol use, personality disorders, and emotional instability. These factors contributed to the environment surrounding Kyron's life, but do not provide evidence of culpability. The family structure, including step-siblings, custody arrangements, and interpersonal tensions, offers context for understanding the circumstances of Kyron's disappearance. Examining these relationships allows investigators and the public to comprehend the complexities of his upbringing and the social environment he inhabited. Understanding the family background establishes the framework in which Kyron lived and disappeared, highlighting the people closest to him and the household dynamics, without presuming any actions or outcomes. After Kyron Horman failed to return home on June 4, 2010, Portland police launched an extensive search for the missing second grader. Because several hours had passed since he was last seen, authorities treated the situation with urgency. Investigators immediately focused on Skyline Elementary School, interviewing all students and staff while conducting thorough searches of the school building, classrooms, and surrounding grounds. The search expanded to the nearby rural area, reflecting the concern for Kyron's safety. These efforts quickly became one of the largest searches in Oregon's history. Despite the scale of the operation, No confirmed sightings of Kyron were reported at the school after the morning bell. Kyron's teacher had marked him absent at 10 a.m., believing he was attending a doctor's appointment. Police noted that his family described him as a timid child, unlikely to leave the school grounds on his own. Initial procedures focused on gathering eyewitness accounts and establishing a timeline of Kyron's movements from his home to the school. Authorities documented each step reported by family members and witnesses, attempting to reconstruct the morning of June 4th in detail. Over the following 2 weeks, the investigation escalated. Law enforcement interviewed numerous witnesses, including school staff, students, and family friends. Public appeals were made, urging anyone with information to come forward. Officials emphasized the importance of locating Kyron quickly, as the first hours were considered critical. Investigators maintained a methodical approach, cataloging evidence and statements while coordinating search teams across multiple areas. This section highlights the procedural steps taken immediately after Kyron's disappearance, emphasizing the scale of the search, the timeline of the first day, and the efforts to trace his movements. It also reflects the early tension between official accounts and the family's concerns. All information presented remains strictly factual, describing the actions of law enforcement and the responses of those connected to Kyron without speculation regarding his fate or potential suspects. Less than 2 weeks after Kyron Horman disappeared, police upgraded the investigation to a criminal inquiry and began concentrating on Terry Lynn Moulton Horman, Kyron's stepmother. Authorities cited cell phone records indicating Terry may not have been where she claimed to be on June 4th, the day Kyron was last seen. These discrepancies raised questions about her statements regarding Kyron's final known location. On June 26th, approximately 3 weeks after Kyron vanished, Kyron Horman, Kyron's father, moved out of the family home. That same day, Terry made 2 separate 911 calls from the residence. The first, at 5:17 p.m., was classified as a threats call, and the second, at 11:39 p.m., was classified as a child custody call. Kyron was not present at the home during either call. Additional information released by authorities revealed that a landscaper employed by the Horman family stated Terry had offered him money to kill Kyron roughly 6 to 7 months before Kyron's disappearance. In response, police organized a sting operation, having the landscaper approach Terry to demand payment under surveillance. Terry, instead of complying, called 911 to report the alleged $10,000 demand. Following these events, Kyron filed for divorce and requested a restraining order, asserting that Terry was responsible for both Kyron's disappearance and the earlier attempted murder-for-hire plot. This focus on Terry illustrated the direction of the investigation, including the rationale behind police actions, court filings, and interactions with the landscaper. It also highlighted the underlying family tensions, Kyron's protective measures regarding his 1-year-old daughter, Kiara, and the legal consequences connected to Terry's alleged past behavior. By strictly adhering to the documented facts, this section clarifies why authorities and the public paid particular attention to Terry during the investigation, establishing the context for subsequent legal proceedings and media scrutiny, while avoiding speculation or assumptions about her role in the case. The disappearance of Kyron Horman had immediate and significant consequences for his family and household dynamics. Following the issuance of a restraining order that barred Terry Lynn Moulton Horman from contacting Kyron Horman, Kyron, Kiara, or her teenage son Kyron pursued full custody of Kiara and sought child support. He also alleged that Terry attempted to abduct Kiara from her daycare just 2 days after the restraining order was enforced. Kyron claimed Terry had begun an extramarital relationship shortly after he moved out and shared sensitive personal information with her new partner, raising concerns about family stability. In mid-July 2010, Terry relocated to her hometown of Roseburg, Oregon, while Kyron and Kiara returned to their Portland residence. Authorities questioned Terry's friend, Dee Dee Speaker, searched her home, and issued public requests for information regarding Terry, Spiker, or a white pickup truck associated with Terry on June 4th between 9:45 a.m. and 1 p.m. Spiker denied any knowledge of Kyron's disappearance, providing investigators with no further leads. Caney publicly described Terry as struggling with postpartum depression, alcoholism, a personality disorder, and emotional instability. He expressed concern for Kiara's safety, suggesting she may have been a witness to events connected to Kyron's disappearance. The legal measures, custody disputes, and relocation of family members underscored the broader impact of Kyron's disappearance on daily life and household arrangements. By documenting these developments, this section emphasizes the emotional and logistical consequences experienced by Kyron's family while strictly adhering to reported facts, illustrating the immediate ripple effects on parental responsibilities, sibling care, and interactions with law enforcement without speculating on unverified events or assigning blame beyond documented claims. In May 2012, Desiree Young, mother of Kyron Horman, filed a lawsuit against Terry Lynn Moulton Horman, accusing her of kidnapping Kyron and seeking $10 million in damages. The lawsuit requested that the court either return Kyron or provide information regarding his whereabouts. Prior to his disappearance, Desiree had attempted to gain custody of Kyron, citing his repeated expressions of wanting to live with her. These legal actions reflect her ongoing pursuit of answers and her determination to advocate for her son, despite the passage of time. The lawsuit represents Desiree's continued efforts to hold responsible parties accountable, while also emphasizing her hope for Kyron's safe return. Both Desiree and Kyron's father, Kyron Horman, have publicly maintained their hope that he remains alive, expressing a persistent desire for resolution. Authorities have not named an official suspect in the case, although investigative evidence led police to focus on Terry Horman. Caney has speculated that Terry may have been responsible for Kyron's disappearance and suggested the possibility of accomplices, though no evidence has confirmed such claims. This section highlights the ongoing legal and emotional ramifications for Kyron's family. By presenting the parents' perspectives and actions, it illustrates their continued commitment to locating Kyron and seeking justice within the legal system. The lawsuit, advocacy efforts, and public statements provide insight into the family's struggle to navigate both grief and uncertainty, while emphasizing that the case remains unresolved. Kyron Horman and Desiree Young, Kyron's parents, continue to express hope that their son is still alive. The case remains open and actively investigated, with law enforcement and family members seeking information from the public. Legal proceedings, including ongoing divorce actions, lawsuits, and custody disputes, continue to affect the family's daily life. Investigators have disclosed information regarding possible motives and prior suspicious behavior, such as Terry's alleged past attempt to hire someone to kill Kyron, but no official determination of guilt has been established. This status update underscores both the unresolved legal and emotional dimensions of the case. It highlights the persistent uncertainty faced by the Horman family and the investigative challenges encountered by authorities. Kyron's disappearance remains one of Oregon's most widely publicized missing child cases, drawing ongoing public attention and media scrutiny. The combined efforts of law enforcement and family members continue to focus on gathering tips, revisiting leads, and maintaining awareness of the case. The situation remains a stark reminder of the enduring nature of unsolved missing child investigations. All reported facts indicate that the case is active but unresolved, with the search for answers continuing, while the Horman family holds on to hope, awaiting any information that could finally clarify the circumstances surrounding Kyron's disappearance and bring closure to one of Oregon's most perplexing and tragic cases.